You asked me to paint this again, but this time with high quality watercolor supplies. The first time I went to the dollar store and bought cheap watercolor supplies, then painted the best I could with them. Today I'm comparing the cheap watercolor supplies to the quality watercolor supplies, and we will paint the same reference photo so you can see a side-by-side comparison. In this video we'll talk about the pros and cons of cheap watercolor supplies and quality watercolor supplies. Some of you were really impressed with how the cheap watercolor supplies did, and I do have to say this is my favorite part of this painting. I think that is pretty cool. But do you think high quality materials will make a difference? Type yes in the comments if you do. At the end of this video, I'll give you a bonus tip that will help you to enjoy the process of painting in watercolor without breaking the bank. As I paint this picture again, I'm going to be paying attention to two very important things to me. Number one, the process. Is it enjoyable? Number two, the results. Do I actually like how it turns out? So here we go. I chose this reference because it has high contrast, simple shapes, and vivid colors. I'm using the Grabie Watercolor 168 set and the Grabie synthetic watercolor brushes. I love how the bristles don't fall out, and they are very absorbent, so I can hold plenty of water and paint when I need to. If you're interested in the watercolor supplies that I recommend, then look in the description. So here are the pros of the cheap watercolor supplies. They are affordable and accessible. If you break them or lose them, no problem, just go to the store and pick some more up. Now here's the cons of cheap watercolor supplies. The low quality brushes have less control. Bristle hairs can fall out and get bent out of shape real easy. Low quality paints fade quickly and the colors aren't as pigmented and vivid. Low quality paper can only take 2 to 3 layers of paint and can make it harder to blend. Now here's the pros of quality watercolor supplies. This is high quality paper, so I'm able to easily add many layers of watercolor with no problems, as opposed to the paper I use from the dollar store. Quality paints don't fade quickly, and colors are more vivid and pigmented. Quality brushes tend to last longer and keep their shape longer. They don't lose their bristles easily. They give you more control, and they absorb more paint and water. Quality paper allows many layers of paint, so you can build up the vivid colors and high contrast. Plus, they are easy to blend. Now here are the cons of quality watercolor supplies. They're expensive. They can break the bank, so it's upsetting if you break it or lose it. Here's some questions to consider while buying watercolor supplies. Is your artwork for the refrigerator, a gift, or a gallery? If it's just for the refrigerator and you will probably take a picture of it and toss it later, then expensive supplies aren't necessary. If you plan to give your painting as a gift and it will be hung up in someone's home or in a gallery, you'll want the colors to last longer. In this case, using quality supplies is important. Another question to ask yourself is, how important is enjoying the process? Can you enjoy the process with these cheap materials? For me, this is a huge question because, like most hobbies, once you stop having fun, you're done. Now, if you can have fun with cheap materials, bless your heart. Keep having fun, keep using them. That's just not been my personal experience. Cheap materials have made me feel like giving up. Here's my honest opinion. Get the materials that will help you enjoy the process and that you can afford. I have found 100% cotton paper to be so much fun. I never want to go back to the cheap watercolor paper. I enjoy the Grabie watercolor set and their synthetic brushes so much, so I keep using them. Now I'm always testing new things, and if I find something that is even more enjoyable, I grab onto that, and I'll share it with you. Now for the bonus tip that will help you enjoy the process of painting in watercolor and you won't break the bank. I recommend buying 100% cotton paper and cutting it into 4 smaller sizes. So instead of 15 sheets of paper, you get 60. And if you use the other side, you actually get 120 practice pages of high quality paper. I've done this and there's nothing to be ashamed of. This video is about 5 watercolor myths and I think you're gonna enjoy it. Subscribe for more watercolor tips so you can enjoy the process.